is the Deep End Broadcasting Network.
43-time 20-goal scorer goes to the net. Right down the slot. It's Vince Dunn, and he scores. Going back to last season, Pasternak. Now it's 61 goals. In his last 83 games as his one-timer finds the back of the net. Thru set it on the go. Metzger has it in neutral towards the empty cage. He scores again. Alex Ovechkin one closer to 800. Who's the draw? Now it's a 3-on-2 for the Stars. Lindell carries up across ice. Landry, and they score! Glendening went to the net, redirects it. A short-handed goal makes it 4-1 Dallas. That will not make the coach happy.
What the puck is going on?
All right, this is What the Puck is Going On, broadcasting here from the Deep End Broadcasting Studios in, once again, beautiful Virginia Beach, Virginia.
Playoff edition.
Playoff edition. Steve, here we are, and even though the Capitals did not make it, this is still the best time of the year. This is the best tournament in all of sports, in my opinion. I think
you see the upsets. You see the 8 seed beat the 1 seed a lot. A lot of crazy things happen. Oftentimes, the cream does rise to the top, but sometimes someone sneaks on in there and hoists the cup.
That's right. So, Steve, you just kind of answered my question. I can see it all over you. I was going to ask, are you as excited as I am?
I am.
Even though that our team did not make it, this is usually a very, very exciting and nervous time for us. This year it is not, so we get to sit back and just kind of take it all in and watch what goes on.
I'm interested in the first round in the sense that I hear, and everything that happened in the season should tell you that this should be a very good, close first round. But when I really look into the matchups, will they? I could see some teams really running away with some things here, and maybe some of these series maybe not being as competitive as we think. So that's just me. We'll get into that as we go ahead and break everything down. I pulled up the standings, which we no longer need. So I closed those up, and I got the injuries right here for us, ready to roll. Still a ton of players here listed on the injury report. So we'll see how that's going to affect some of these teams here in playoff time. I know in the NBA had a lot of key injuries already.
Right. I'll just go ahead and say real quickly while we're on that, I'm rooting for the Celtics and the Kings. I have some very, very nice interest.
Hey, that could very well happen. That could easily happen.
In those two teams. We're talking some nice payouts to go along with some hockey stuff here. So I'll be watching a little bit of basketball, probably only those two teams when they're playing. But, Steve, I'm just throwing it out there now. Celtics, Kings, those are my teams to be rooting for. So, all right, Steve, let's jump right into it. In the first series that we're going to take on here, I'm probably going to have a pretty unpopular opinion about here. And we're talking the New York Islanders are heading down to Carolina for 2 games to take on the Hurricanes. Steve, I'm just going to come right off the top with it. I think this is the Islanders 4 games, the Carolina Hurricanes 3 games.
So you're going to pick the upset, and this is after you picked the Hurricanes preseason to win the East, which is going to be a tough task for anyone the way that Boston and the Rangers are playing, to be honest.
Right. Well,
but I like it. I think. Go ahead. Do you want to go?
Well, I was just going to say, we know Carolina. Yes, they did. What I kind of thought they would do. They won the division,
and they fumbled a little bit down the stretch.
They did. But here's the thing about this New York Islanders team. While maybe they didn't wow you in the regular season, I think this team is built to win at least one round. Maybe they get to the second round and, they get some – I mean, this is all good competition. Don't get me wrong. but maybe they don't get out of the second round. But I think they have a real chance to get out of the first round. Just like I said, with the players that this team has, the style of play that they play has playoffs written all over it. And like I said, they are built for the playoffs. They have guys who know what this is about. They know the situation. So I'm going to go ahead and pick an upset here. I think it goes the distance for sure, though. Carolina is absolutely not going to lay down and give it to them. But I think at the end of the day, the Islanders, they just find some way to surprise you, and then they get bounced in the second round. So, Steve, what are you thinking here for this series? There's good numbers really all over the board for all these series. But go ahead and start me off here. The Islanders and the Hurricanes, what are you thinking over there?
First of all, I think the Islanders are a bad matchup for anybody, just because of the style that they play. They played a physical defense, dump and chase. They're going to grind you down. They have good goaltending for sure as well. All right, so they have all the ingredients to be a heck of a nuisance come playoff time. And yes, their kind of style will definitely hurt some teams who can't parallel what the Islanders are doing. The one thing that is wrong with that in this series is that as much as the Islanders are a bad matchup for the Hurricanes, maybe the Hurricanes are a bad matchup for the Islanders.
Right.
Because they play that same they can play that same brand of hockey.
Right.
And I think they just have a little bit more offense, maybe, I guess. The goaltending is going to be interesting in this matchup.
I think you're absolutely right, Steve. I would give the offensive advantage probably to the Hurricanes, but I think I would give the goalie matchup. Actually, I think I would give the advantage to the Islanders.
Yeah, I would too. And I suspect this to be, without a doubt, an under series. I think you could bet unders on every game, and the longer it goes, the better for you because you're going to win more bets, I think. So that's the one angle I would look at. I'm not an under player in hockey, and I haven't been in the NHL, but
there's ever a time, it's now, though. We've seen what, Steve, through all the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a time, I mean, like under 4.5, getting plus 215, under 3.5 is plus 340. Maybe those aren't the best numbers, but these could be 2-1 games, 3-0 games. You always do have to pull. You always get that goalie pull too. So that's really scary if you're trying to think about trying to do something like that. But I would lean to unders for sure. I think that's a guarantee. I think that one dimension that the Islanders have of being a tough, gritty defensive team is that one dimension Carolina can also play, and they have a couple added dimensions as well. Right. And I think that may be the difference in the series. I'm actually going to take the Hurricanes in the series to beat the Islanders. I think they're all tough games, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Hurricanes won, 4-1, 4-2, or even got a sweep, but all the games are 1-goal games.
Oh, absolutely, Steve. I couldn't agree more. Now, would it surprise me if Carolina wins this series? No. Everything says that they probably should. But I'm just telling you, there's something about this Islanders team.
You can make a case for most of the underdogs.
Absolutely.
At any given time of an NHL playoff for sure.
And so, Steve, you're going to get a plus 210 number if it does go 7 games. 6 games plus 210, 5 games plus 220 or 255, and your sweep is going to pay out a nice plus 550. So, but I think in this game tonight, now I think our strategies have kind of changed a little bit. Everything is different now. Pretty much reset everything. And Steve, I think your underplays are going to be certainly in this series. I think pretty spot on. I think tonight we open up with maybe a 3-2 type of game. So I think the unders are certainly there. And Steve, if you're going to go with a 4-2 for the Hurricanes there, you're going to get a nice plus 400 number for the Hurricanes to win 4-2. So, like I said, maybe not so much in the games themselves, but the series props for all these games have excellent numbers. You just got to be willing to kind of take an educated kind of stab at it.
I have a couple of these exact correct score series going, and I have leaned with some sweeps or 4-1. I think I have Carolina 4-1. I think in the one longer one. I'd have to go back and look just by chance. But if you're speaking on those, Dave, I mean, here's just a good lesson too. So start with this number. The series price overall is Carolina minus 205. The Islanders are plus 165. That's what I'm looking at right now.
Right.
If you're to take the Islanders in every correct score, 4-0, 4-1, 4-2, 4-3, you're getting 16-1 on 4-0. You're getting plus 980 on 4-1. You're getting plus 550 on 4-2, and you're getting plus 650 on 4-3. Now, if you put $100 on each one of those, you're going to lose 3 of them. All right. And let's say you win the one that's paying off the least, which is Islanders 4-2. All right. You're $300 in the hole, but you just won 590. You're now plus 290 to where you were plus 164 on the series money line.
Right.
And you're actually getting that same payout with Carolina in a way. So instead of laying $205 to win 100 on Carolina, you can take Carolina 4-1 plus 390, plus 820 on the sweep, plus 420 on 4-2, and then plus 410 on 4-3. You figure you lose 3 of those, but if you're going to win the one that pays out the least, which is Carolina 4-3, you're now getting paid plus 110 instead of minus 220
right.
on your investment.
So, Steve, you
know there's a trick to the trade here, people.
Exactly. You got to love these playoff numbers, don't you? I mean, they're all over the board. Some really good opportunities here. If you piece them right, NHL playoffs could be very profitable for you. It's just lining them up right is the thing. So, all right, Steve, I think we're both going to go with the game itself. I think the under would be the thing to take away from that. I would certainly have to agree with
and looking forward, and we'll see on Friday's show how we stand on all of that.
Right.
We'll recap everything that we kind of said.
Right.
But I would lean unders in all these games.
Yeah, I probably would too. The next series that we're getting ready to talk about, for the first game anyway, the over-under is 6.5. And I've been seeing some pretty interesting stuff here, Steve. We've got the Florida Panthers heading up to Boston, round 1. And there's a bit of a bug going through that Boston locker room. They have actually called up the AHL goaltender. He might actually play. Both those goaltenders, I believe, are game time decisions. They're sick. And it's going through the locker room. And I think my original thoughts here, now, and I'm still going to go with my original thoughts.
Swayman and Olmark both listed with illness.
Yep. I have the Bruins sweeping, and then I have them winning 4-1. Now, the thing is, if there's this sickness, maybe that one game for Florida could be this evening. You know, hop on them early. They have this bug.
Sneak attack, right?
You know, it's the sneak attack. Hit them while they're down. Now, they're going to come back. And here's the thing about this, Steve. I see Boston winning. But I see, even if it is a sweep or a 4-1, all these games are probably going to be close, I think. I don't think Florida lays down, you know, like we said about the Hurricanes. I don't think they lay down and give it to them. But, I mean, Boston is the much better team. So if we're going to look at that real quick, let's take a look here for total games. If we're looking at four games, we're looking at the sweep at a plus 450. 5 games, which I think is probably the real possibility, plus 235. Now, let's go with the series correct score. Boston to sweep is at a plus 500, and your 4-1 number is at a plus 300. Both numbers I absolutely love. I have both of them going in 2 separate tickets. So, Steve, I think they're closer games than we think. Close games throughout the series, but the series is not close, if that makes any sense. What do you think here, Boston and Florida?
Obviously, Boston is the heavy favorite. The goalies they do concern me. I do have tickets on Boston. Here's the thing: Florida was nice, and they were surging all along here at the end, and they earned that playoff spot. Absolutely, they didn't back in the back door. They earned getting into the playoffs with sheer grit and determination. Boston has been great all year long. I tried to think about past playoff teams of whatever sport, of how dominant you were in the regular season and how that translates into the postseason. In the NFL, that translates terribly.
Right.
That does not play out well when you go 14-2 in the NFL. You usually come out a loser
Right.
to the team that's 11-5 or whatever, the team getting on at the right time. Basketball, I think it's the sheer dominance of the teams of the Jordan era, et cetera, the Lakers. They were the best teams, and they dominated, and they rolled through the playoffs. From what I've seen in hockey, and I'm going to have to take it down a level, but I was able to witness firsthand from bartending our local Norfolk Admirals win the Calder Cup. And when they did that, they actually won 28 games in a row.
Right.
All right. So what they did in the playoffs is they swept, lost 2 games, and then swept. So they went 16-2, hoisting the trophy. So as good as Boston has been, that's just kind of what I think is going to happen, is they're going to just display that sheer dominance. A team like Florida who can they can out physical. The thing is, the Bruins can play any style.
Any style.
And they can out physical Florida for sure.
Now,
I would trust the Bruins. And I think their lowest scorer games, like you said, the Bruins haven't been beating teams up. I wouldn't expect a ton of goals here, but the Bruins could light the lamp for sure if they just get that train rolling.
right.
We'll see. It's going to be an interesting series as far as the illness goes and how that really is affecting the locker room. But I'm going to fully expect Boston to beat down Florida. And here's the thing. You win 2 games at home. And here's my theories on the sweeps and stuff when it comes to betting. Basically, you're in a good spot here with Boston. If you can win your 2 games at home, you're 2-0. If you just win that 3rd game on the road to go 3-0 in a series, it's over with.
Right.
That's it. So you win you get the 2 games at home that you should have. You knock out that 3rd on the road, and then that's it. Your sweep's way live and more than likely to happen at that point.
Right. Right.
So the key is getting the 2 games at home, and then the game number 3 is that what you would call the coin flip game. The one team's either going to get back in the series or it's over with.
Right.
One of the 2.
Now, Steve, dare we throw in, remember just a couple years ago when Tampa was along the same lines of what Boston is now, and when I say that, they're still a very good team. But if you remember, they had that season where they just lit everybody up. They were not doing much losing. They get in the first round and they draw who? The Columbus
the Blue Jackets. And they beat them, yeah.
And what happened in that series?
The Blue Jackets beat them handily.
Swept them, Steve. They swept them. And nobody saw that coming. And I think that really lit a fire under Tampa. Then they go on the run that they have. But these things could happen as well. Do I see that happening to Boston? I think the chances of that are very, very low. But these things can happen, Steve. So just something to keep in mind. I have interest in the Bruins as well. So I'm going to keep that, way out of mind at this point in the game. All right, Steve, next series, you got to figure you're going to like the under here in this one too. It's at 5.5. Minnesota traveling to Dallas, round 1. And these are two very good goaltenders going at it. I got to believe Ottinger is in goal for the Stars and Fleury for the Wild. We know the style of play the Wild like. I think the Stars can match it. And we know the Stars can score, but I don't think Minnesota is just going to give them that many goals. So I haven't played around with this one much, Steve. We know that there's all kinds of good numbers here. I like the under in the game itself, but if we're going to go into the series props here, I could see this one. I think this is a 6 or 7 game series for sure. Two, division opponents going at it. So let's take a look at a couple numbers here. Series total games. And I think if you don't want to pick a winner, one way or the other, I think the total games is a good way to play here. So, Steve, for 6 games, we're getting plus 200. For 7, we're getting plus 200. What are your thoughts with Dallas and Minnesota?
I was actually just looking at that. Like, why wouldn't you just put a big bet on both of those, 6 and 7, and then you're actually able to, for example, if you put 100 down in each of those, you're going to win 200 and lose 100, but you'll profit 100.
Yeah.
But you have 2 different chances as long as it goes 6 or 7 games. Now, my first instinct is that this is definitely a long series, but I have a bone in my body here. I honestly like the minus 150 on the Stars.
Yeah.
I think the Stars are going to win this series. I think they're the better team than Minnesota. Minnesota, I did not like the way that they played down the stretch at all. I did like the way Dallas played. Dallas was able to resurge there, and they probably should have won that division at the end, but Colorado was able to sneak it on out of there and get the game with Seattle. The Stars, I just think, are a little bit better team. I think they have more offense. They can definitely provide where both teams may be about equal on defense. The Stars have more offense than Minnesota at the end of the day. They just do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to favor Dallas in this series, and I have not bet this one. But I'm starting to think that if I'm going to do a new little play, I might have to throw the Stars in here on the play. I think Minnesota can get a game or 2 for sure. I don't think Dallas will sweep. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, it's going to be the same scenario where if Dallas wins those first 2 games at home, and then they can get game 3 just on the road to Minnesota,
right?
And that you're not there. It is, the sweep's right there in your face. So I think the Stars win both of these home games and go up 2-0. Let's see, the correct series score after 3 games. It's something I'd be maybe interested in. I could see Dallas up 2-1. That's only plus 132. But then you get a nice plus 430 number of the Stars can go up 3-0. And then they don't have to sweep. I definitely think they win the first 2 games at home, which would make that game 3 a plus 430 game in favor of the Stars.
Right.
If you look at it just in those spectacles. But yeah, I'm going to trust Dallas in the series to beat Minnesota.
So you're getting Dallas at 4-2 at a nice plus 450 price.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
I can't say it enough, Steve. I already have some series props going on, and just you know me as a genuine fan of the sport, I'll be watching a lot of these playoff games. I'm loving all these numbers. I really am. You're getting really good values here. So, and that'll make it all the more exciting in my mind anyway. So let's go here to the next game, which I actually have conflicting interest in here. LA is traveling to Edmonton to take on the Oilers in another series that I think goes 6, maybe 7 games. Really, I think Edmonton has the edge, but I would not be surprised if LA could kind of surprise people and pull off an upset. That's another one on my board to watch out for. But I had Edmonton I have them in a couple different plays. So, like I said, very conflicting interest for me, Steve. I would like to see the Kings win the series. They're plus 170 on the money line tonight. So I believe one number that I did have, just in case, because the Kings have a couple injuries that really concern me going into this series. So I think one thing that I took, Steve, was a correct score of Edmonton 4-2, and you're going to get a nice plus 400 number out of that. So what do you think here? Oilers, Kings, this is sure to be an entertaining one, if anything else.
Yep, and this is the hardest series, I think, to predict on the board. So I don't have a play on it yet. I think that it goes very long, like you said. Here's one that's kind of interesting. As far as leading goal scorers go for the series, and this is the first time we're kind of looking at a player prop here, but a veteran player like Kopitar, 12-1 to lead the goals, even when you had McDavid and Draisaitl in there. Maybe they're chopping up some goals, and if they're lower scoring series, which maybe this could be too. I mean, we've seen these teams play to some unders when we thought they'd be over games. Maybe someone like a Kopitar at 12-1 can end up being the leading goal scorer in a series like this. Just something weird to look at. Know that you can bet on those kind of things as well. As far as the previous series that we've talked about with player props, I don't think I really have any, but there's going to be one or two coming up here that I'm going to maybe take a look at. But that'd be an oddball bet. 12-1 for Kopitar.
I like it.
To lead the series in goals.
I like it. And he's certainly a player that's capable of that for sure. So I think that's probably a nice kind of sneaky play there, Steve.
Seasoned veteran, playoff.
Been there before.
Exactly.
So, you know what? Not bad at all. And I actually have a player prop that we're going to talk about in this next series. So that's all the series that are going on this evening.
That's tonight. Okay. Yep.
So that's tonight's action. It's look for to start probably some unders, like we said. There's going to be a couple games sprinkled in that will get your overs. There always is in the series. To start, though, I don't think I would come swinging high out of the gates. But here's an interesting one, Steve. And you have we're definitely two sides of the coin here. You're thinking one way. I'm thinking the other. Tampa Bay heading up to Toronto to play the Leafs. And I think this goes 7. You get a nice plus 200 number out of it. But since you brought up them player props, Steve, I'm happy you did, because there was something that I'm looking at here for this series in particular. And head-to-head points is going to be the angle. And we have wrong series there. Here we go. Austin Matthews versus Braden Point. We have Austin Matthews at a minus 150, but Braden Point at a plus 120. And all that guy does, we're talking about Point here, is produce in the playoffs. I mean, he is a playoff machine when they get there. He helps that team in just every way possible. A big component to their success there. So I don't know, Steve. Braden Point at a plus 120. I think you kind of have to like that number there. If you, like I said, if you've paid attention to any of their playoffs, he's
always been there for the Lightning. Yes,
exactly.
Sure. And we're talking about the Lightning and Maple Leafs series right now. So, here's the thing.
Think about it.
About it. I think this is another under series. So I believe it or not, and where this could be an over series, and we could see more. There's only 5.5 for the over under.
Right.
This is going to be hard fought and nitty and gritty, and I know you like Tampa, right?
Yep.
But
I think Tampa.
I'm going to be on the other side of that with Toronto. I have a ticket Toronto 4-1. Tampa just didn't impress me down the stretch.
Understood.
And they just don't seem like they are that. They have the pedigree in their mind, but do they have it physically from what they had 2 years ago?
Right.
I'm not so sure. I feel like Toronto's better than what they have been here, and we all know their faults in the playoffs. So I don't have any player props for me here.
But here's my thing, Steve. Is Samsonov good enough to take the Leafs out of the first round?
Did you hear what he said this weekend?
What?
He said that we're the better team.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess we're getting ready to find out.
Yeah. He came out and said that. So he very confident as Ilya Samsonov there for the Maple Leafs. This is going to be a goalie battle. It really, really is. Vasilevsky and Samson. This is just an under series. I just see it that way.
Yeah.
I could see hostilities.
We're gonna have that for sure.
And really, maybe the team who's smart enough to stay out of the penalty box is the one that's going to win this.
I think that could be key, Steve. That's very well said for sure. Tampa in 7 is paying a nice plus 600. So that's a good number for them. But, we got Steve over here.
It's a dart. I mean, it's not the most confident pick. I mean,
Steve pulling out his Maple Leafs jersey out of the closet.
The old school Tampa Bay juggernauts, betting against them is it's like betting against the Manning Colts all those years.
Right.
They'll lose this week. They win by 50.
All right, Steve. Here's one that is very tricky in my mind. So the only real confident play that I have for it is 7 games. And we're talking New Jersey and New York, the Rangers. I mean, Steve, this has got to go 7 games, right?
I think the Rangers are going to dominate the series.
Think so?
Yes. I think the Rangers are a very good team. And they have the goalie.
They do.
They have the goalie, and that's what you need in these playoffs. And I think New Jersey's been a great story. They've been nice. This is a big rivalry with the fans right there.
Maybe you worry about the experience from the Devils?
I know, and the Rangers have been, they were on the cusp of it all, really. Right? They're right there. So New Jersey still has a big ladder to climb in that regard. I like the Rangers in this series. I would not doubt it if they actually sweep them or win 4-1. I told you I got some oddball sweeps here. So I could see it at the oddball sweep. Get me to the
13-1 over here.
These damn playoffs.
Sure, you're getting a better number. Usually.
Okay. The correct score for the Rangers is plus 1260. So you actually have the better number.
Oh.
Plus 730 on 4-1, plus 470 on 4-2, and plus 540 on 4-3. They're just plus 106 on the straight series line, which I don't get it. I don't know why they're an underdog in this series.
I don't get it
That's
either.
what I don't understand. So put it this way. Again, if you're going to play our old trick and you put $100 on every correct score for the Rangers, you're going to lose 3 of them. But the one that's going to pay out the least, plus 470, now takes you from a 106 profit to a plus 170 profit. And if the sooner they win, the better your number goes up.
Absolutely.
So I don't know why people with these series prices, when they can go up and down, and you won't hear this on any other show.
Absolutely not.
You won't hear this advice on any other show. But when you go up and down, I call it the Nats special because I noticed that the one year the Nats beat the Astros, and I had it, and it paid nice, and the Nats won in 7 games. It still paid plus 500 compared to the plus 150 for the series price or whatever it was. So correct score all the way around. Here's one prop I'm going to take for a player prop. I'm going to look at the leading goal scorer for the series. And I would Mika's Zibanejad at plus 800.
Good call. I like that. That guy just brings it every night.
Yes.
You know, I like that for a player prop. I really do. I might end up looking at something
So
like
you
that.
can actually round robin that kind of thing with Kopitar, Zibanejad, and then hopefully you can rack up one or two. Those are going to pay nicely if you can.
Absolutely. All right, Steve. Here's one.
Don't be surprised if someone like a Tarasenko of 14-1 though gets it.
Right. I mean, he's capable as well.
And proves that the trade definitely was good.
And just the trades that they made to get where they are now. I mean, you got to like their chances to make a pretty deep run.
Jack Hughes is going to have a big old target on him. Let's be honest with the Rangers defense.
Oh, they're gonna shut him down, or at least they're gonna try to. That's gonna be, I would have to think, in their game plan, no doubt.
This is a bad. So, when we talk about matchups, this is just a bad matchup for New Jersey.
Right. Yeah, I think so. It's going to be tough. I think it goes 7.
New Jersey is better off playing someone like Florida.
That would have been better for them. Absolutely. All right, Steve, here's one. And I have kind of a oddball take on this as well. The Vegas Golden Knights draw the Winnipeg Jets in the first round. And I'll tell you, Steve, one of my props, I took the Winnipeg Jets 7 games at a plus 600 number. The thing that concerns me for the Knights now, would it surprise me if the Knights win this series? Maybe even so, in a dominating fashion? No, it would not surprise me. But the goaltending for the Knights right now is what concerns me. The Jets have the better goaltending. Quick is not starting for the Knights, is what I'm hearing. I'm not sure why that would be. He would be, in my mind, the guy who has all the experience in the world in these tournaments. He's older and maybe has regressed a little bit, but he's played well for them after the trade. And why you wouldn't give the guy who has that experience the start, at least get one of your other guys who you wanted to start, get him healthy, maybe, rotate him in. But I'm not an NHL coach, so I don't know. Steve, Vegas, Winnipeg, I'm taking a shot on the upset. Winnipeg in 7. What do you think?
I'm going to do you one better and take Winnipeg in 6. I think that this is a bad matchup for Vegas. You can boil everything down to a bad matchup, huh? So I like the fact Connor Hellebuck is the Jets goalie. And
yeah,
I think the Jets have a little bit of momentum. Vegas has been good, but if they let their guard down a little bit against this Jets team, then they're going to be in for it. So this is going to be an interesting series as far as the Jets are concerned. I don't think I have any kind of player prop for this series. I really would like to find a Jet maybe to be the leading scorer. But I haven't really pinned one down, to be honest. I think Hellebuck keeps them in this. Again, another series in which we might see a lot of unders.
Yeah,
I really might. And that could be a big theme here in the first round, that we see take advantage of some of these numbers that are higher. Now, you're not getting them in the playoffs. You're getting them. Let's see what we have for a number here. Let me get off the playoffs. I like the Jets 4-2. And as far as the over-under, 5.5. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Everything's a 5.5 for the most part, except for the Kings and Oilers game, Florida and Boston. Everything else is a 5.5. Colorado and the Kraken is 6.5 as well. But 5 games at 5.5, which is lower, Dave, than that's the lowest we see all year.
Oh, yeah.
Now that it's playoff time, that's telling you something, that these are going to be lower scoring series. So I would lean with unders again. Don't be afraid to pop off Unders and all these 5.5s across the board every night. And I bet at the end you're going to end up a profitable winner if you do that.
I think so. Yeah. Don't let the 5.5 number scare you. You know, like I said earlier,
Low scoring series, and the goalie's going to be the difference for the Jets.
Right. I couldn't agree more. Now you will get, maybe, I don't know, game 3 or game 4 ends up, one team just doesn't have a good day. They're not on it that day, and it's 4-2 or something like that, 5-2 with an empty netter. I mean, these things happen. So look, you'll have to take a calculated shot when you want to play the over. But I think, Steve, I'm with you here so far on the unders. I feel pretty good about that as well. So, Steve, what better way to wrap up the first playoff, what the puck is going on, than with the defending Stanley Cup champions, Colorado Avalanche versus the Seattle Kraken. And I've got Colorado in 6, the number plus 380. I think the Kraken, they make a respectable showing. Do they win this series? I really, really don't think so. If they can pull off an upset, you'll get some really nice numbers, but it's Colorado. I think they still have enough gas in the tank to at least get out of the first round. So good story for the Kraken, but I think the first round is as far as they go. I think it happens in 6. Steve, defending champs, what do you think?
Well, if they had the ex-Avalanche, Andre Barakowski in there, that would be one thing. He's been hurt forever, and he's not coming back. His prognosis has him out at least a couple more weeks. Our boy Daniel Sprong also out for undisclosed reasons.
Oh, wow.
Seattle is a nice story. Real cute hockey team over the course of the season. They did a lot of good things. They scored a lot of goals at a lot of times. They beat up on all the teams that they should have. They had tougher times against the better teams. This is a terrible matchup for the Kraken.
Yeah, they got to not be looking forward to that.
And here's the deal. It's the same scenario. If the Avalanche can just hold serve at home and go up 2-0, then it's going to come down to that pivotal third game.
Right.
That coin flip game, am I going to get back in a series or am I done? And I think Colorado is the kind of team savvy enough to where they're going to actually put the fork in them in game 3, and then that's going to be it. I like Colorado to romp in this series. Maybe Seattle grabs the game. I would not be shocked if this is a sweep.
Right, that could happen. That certainly could happen.
Could be happen. I know I've said it about a lot of the series here, but this could be a very one-sided affair. Now, as far as player props go, if we're going to talk about that, let me click to my Avalanche player props here. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Now, Landeskog is out, right?
Yep, he is hurt. That's going to be an injury. That's going to be big for them. I would look for.
I think you got to look at McKinnon then. They're going to lean on him very heavy.
McKinnon is
probably not a great number, though.
He actually may be hurt too. Let's see.
Oh, wow. Really?
Oh, come on, asshole. McKinnon's fine. But why don't I see him on the player prop? So I would maybe look at this for a random play. Cale Makar at 3+ goals in the series, plus 320.
I could see that. I could certainly see that. They're going to be somebody that
now, if it's a shorter series, obviously the goal chances are less. So maybe that's an opposite play. But I don't think 3 goals is hard to get to. You get 2 in one game, you get 1 in another game, and there you go. I think the Avalanche can flex their muscles in this scenario. I just do.
I
I don't
agree.
think Seattle has any chance to advance here.
I agree. All right, Steve. So I think that's pretty damn good coverage of the first round so far, just to open it up. So let's end it as we usually do. What you got cooking up over there for some tickets?
Okay, I mean, I got a bunch of the series prices. Let's see here if I can reel these all off. I got the Rangers in the sweep. I got the Bruins in the sweep. I got the Maple Leafs 4-1. I have the Jets 4-2. I have the Avalanche 4-0. And I'm thinking about taking Dallas to go up 3-0 after 3 games.
Interesting.
Maybe not necessarily a sweep, but knowing Minnesota can grab that game 4. I'm going to look at the player props for Zibanejad to lead. Oh, here's the one I wanted to look at. Zibanejad to lead the series in goals. I'll also take oh man, come on, dude. It's so many bets to try to get through. Where's the Boston Bruins? I mean, we got to take Pasternak. So for him, just plus 250. So I heard today that he has shot. He had 60 more shot attempts than anyone else on the Bruins.
Really?
Yeah. So if they're going to win, I'm going to trust that plus 250 on Pasternak. So I'll take him, Zibanejad, and I'll take a shot on Kopitar for the Kings to all lead that series in goals. As far as games go tonight, I would just look at all the unders. I would look at the under in the Islanders Hurricanes. I would look at under in the Stars and the Wild. I would look for under in New Jersey and the Rangers. I would look for an under in Winnipeg and the Golden Knights. Those are the 5 plays I would take for unders. As far as teams to win straight who are underdogs, I don't know if I even have one, except for the Jets. I guess you could take a stab in them in game 1 that they can steal game 1 at plus 128. But I would be I'm almost certain. You know what? What does this pay? Let me do an all chalk parlay to win at home game 1. If we take Carolina, Boston, Dallas, we'll take the Rangers on the road. They're the 1 dog. I don't understand. They should be the favorite. Maple Leafs, Avalanche, Jets, all those teams to win game 1. We'll leave Edmonton and the Kings out of there. That pays 44-1.
Excellent.
So $10 wins 446. Nothing super crazy, but I could see all those teams definitely winning game 1.
No doubt.
As far as to win, I'm going to say that the Eastern Conference Finals will be the Rangers and the Bruins.
Could see that for sure.
I'll leave that there, and I'm going to take in the Western Conference. I'm going to take Dallas to make it there, and I guess it's all reseeding in second round. Is that how it goes?
I believe.
I think I'm not sure. Let me see if I can get that up right. NHL bracket. I would like to say that it's Colorado, but is that a round matchup?
That could be, because then you would probably have.
Let's see.
Yeah, it would be. It would be because you would have the other 2 Pacific teams playing. So if Edmonton and Winnipeg broke through, I think they would be playing each other second round, and then it would be Dallas.
Okay, I'm going to say Dallas and Edmonton, if that's the way it works out in the Western Conference. Otherwise, I think it's Colorado, Dallas.
Yeah, I could see that.
If they reseed. I should know this.
All right, Steve, I'm going to go ahead with this ticket here. This one I really, really like.
Hockey playoffs do not reseed.
I didn't think they did, no.
So that's the NBA that reseeds or whoever.
I'm going to go with
NFL.
Winnipeg
All right.
in 7. The Islanders in 7. The Oilers, against my maybe better judgment, win 4-2 in their series. The Rangers win in 7, and I've got that paired with a little oddball here, Boston Celtics to win the East. Steve, that ticket, if we can get those 5 things to happen, that is going to be a $20,000 winner.
Nice. All right.
So
yeah, I got some. Trust me, my tickets are several hundreds of thousands of dollars for winners.
and
this craziness can happen.
And I have a much smaller one here that I went a different route here. I have the Devils Rangers going 7 games, no winner picked, just 7 games. Boston to win 4-1, and then the Islanders to win in 7 games. Again, paired with the Celtics, and that ticket will win $560.
Nice.
So, and then I have one more going. So just to kind of cover the bases here, this one not paying as much, but 7 games between the Oilers and Kings. This one has my Bruins sweep on it, and the Colorado Avalanche to win their series 4-2, paired with the Celtics in the East, the Kings, Sacramento in the West, and that ticket will pay out just short of $17,000.
Nice.
So lots going on here, lots of hockey. That's what we're looking for. That is what we are looking for, Steve. So, all right, I think we got some solid picks, some solid knowledge here. We are ready for the playoffs. Let the puck drop. We will see you back here after the paycheck, correct? Or before?
6 p.m. Friday.
All right, so we'll see you back here Friday evening to recap and see how things are going. So hopefully we have dropped some good knowledge on you, give you something to think about. And if you have anything working, as always,